Well, welcome to the Stone Roadie podcast. It's the one you don't want to miss. It stars Craig Reed, the Stone Roadie, and Griff, the rocket scientist. Let's not forget Kathy GODSEY and all the old friends that come along. Lord, we'll be talking Skynyrd and leaving you with a song.
T-minus 3, 2, 1. Here we go. It's podcast 200 of the Stoned Roadie Show. Wake and Bake number 79. Action. Oh, God. All righty then, looky here. Yeah, this is podcast number 200 of the Stone Roadie Show. Can you believe it? I can't. My name's Craig Reed, a.k.a. the Stone Roadie. And with me today, I have, as usual, the rocket scientist, Griff Martin. And my other co-host, the lovely Kathy GODSEY, and our guest today, the lovely Steve Nagler from Lone Star Skynyrd Band. So why don't you explain to everybody what we're going to do today on this special edition of the Stone Roadie Show there, Griff?
Well, it's good to see Kathy on here with us on the Stone Roadie Show during the middle of the week. It's kind of weird, having Kathy on here during the week. But yeah, Steve Naylor, he's a guy who I've never actually seen his band. I've seen him on YouTube, and they do a great job, but I've never seen him. So it's great to have you on here, Steve, and Kathy and Craig, and for our 200th celebration podcast. And we got a few things for you. We're going to talk a little bit about some things that are happening. Steve Naylor's got some happening stuff, especially centered around Steve Gaines, that you're going to make an announcement about, right, Steve?
I am.
And then Craig, you've been you had some goings on at your place there, cleaning out your pond. And I've got a little video that I'm going to put up at the end of this. And then, of course, we're going to get to see part 5 of the Gene Odom interview. And then we're before we do that, we're going to give away a pipe. Right, Craig? You got that pipe?
Yeah, we got the what do you call that?
It's a water pipe now.
Oh, it's a water pipe. Okay,
yeah.
That's what it is.
Because we were told that, you could get thrown in jail if you call it a bong. So I don't know why they would throw us in jail. We're not selling it. But it's too bad we got poor Kathy on here. She's a school teacher. So, kids, he doesn't promote that, do you, Kathy?
No, not at all. I'm wearing my little party hat in honor of the 200th podcast. So I'm going to change it up every once in a while because I like to celebrate. So happy 200th. Looky here. And look what Craig has. Craig, that's interesting.
There it is. But so I guess we'll do is we'll give that away there right before we go into the one more from the road and then the little video of Craig. But we'll first we'll get started with Steve Naylor. Kathy, you got any questions you want to ask Steve there?
Yes, Steve, it's very nice to meet you. I just spoke to you before we started the recording, and I realized that you and I are friends on Facebook, but I just knew your name, but I didn't know anything about your band.
Yeah. Thank y'all for having me on here.
It's a pleasure to meet you. And the first thing I said to you was, do you wear a wig? Because your Facebook profile picture looks just like Ronnie Van Zan, and then you showed me your nice braids. So no, I don't wear any wig. That's my nice hair. So it was very nice to meet you. But I wanted to know about your band. First I asked you if you had played up in New Jersey yet, and you have not. But we like to have Skynyrd cover bands and Southern rock bands up here. So tell me a little bit about your band, where you guys are based, where you play, how many members are in the band. You have girl singers. Talk about your band a little bit.
We got it all. We started the band in 2017. based out of Dallas. We've got 7 members, classic Skynyrd lineup, 3 guitars, piano, and we have 2 backup singers that do about 40% of the shows with us. Sounds great when they're in there. It's cherry on top, but it costs a lot of money to carry them with us, so we don't do far shows with them unless it's really well paying. But yeah, we've got the whole Skynyrd thing. We've put a lot of time into making it exactly like the record. That's it's been our main goal from day one to have the music exactly like the record. But that's the only way it needs to be done. Skynyrd and our guitar players constantly find something they've been doing wrong and didn't do right, and perfect it. So it's a lot of work. We play all over the United States. We've been out to New Mexico, all the way to Florida, every state in between. I think we've been to 14 states, and just playing a lot. We try to play once to twice a week, and rarely in Dallas. We, being our hometown, we can't play here all the time. Nobody to come. And Dallas has a lot of tribute bands, so it's real saturated in Dallas. So we, make our rounds down to Houston, to Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, all of them. So that's what we do.
How long are your sets? Meaning, how many songs do you play, and do you change up your sets at all? We
do. We change our sets up a lot. We have a 2-hour show, a 90-minute show, an hour show, and a 45-minute show. Depends on if we're opening for somebody, doing a long show of our own. And the 2-hour shows are roughly about 23 songs. And 90 or 17 to about 17 songs.
Mm-hmm. What do you usually open with?
We do it just like Skynyrd did with the classic MCA, I Ain't the One.
Cool.
We change it up in the middle, but we start it like they did and we end it like they did. Sweet Home, Free Bird. Give me the Call Me the Breeze.
Okay. And are all of your members local? Are they all from your area?
All of them are right now. We're it's real spread out in Dallas, and we're all around a 50-mile radius. I'm in Fort Worth. Some of them are in Plano. Piano players almost in Oklahoma. So we practice in Dallas. It's kind of the central hub. We do van call or something. It's typically from Dallas. We all meet at the drummer's place and pile in a van, head out.
Good. Do you guys have any original songs that you do?
We don't. We don't do any original songs at all. We
strictly
dedicated
cover.
it all to Skynyrd. Mm-hmm.
Where are you playing next at, Steve?
Our next show is August 3rd in Sturgis, South Dakota. Kickstands, campgrounds at the big bike festival. We're excited to go. It's going to be fun. Going to drive 17 hours to play 90 minutes and turn around and drive 17 more hours back.
Oh, wow.
Hey, Steve, tell everybody about the big announcement in September. Go ahead and talk about that. Check this out, Kathy.
Really cool thing, and we're doing the 75th birthday celebration for Steve Gaines in his hometown of Miami, Oklahoma, in the beautiful Coleman Theater. If y'all haven't never seen it, it is really nice. It's an old, I believe it was built in the 20s, maybe early 30s, but very nice, real fancy, real Gone with the Windish looking. And so it's going to be on his 75th birthday. Gene's coming up there. Griff said he's going to try to make it up there.
Yeah, I'll be there, yeah.
Talked to Mike Estes. He said he thinks he can do it, but he hasn't confirmed. So I'm still trying to get him to confirm. So he might be there, but he might not. And then a bunch of either 4 or 5 members of Steve Gaines' hometown band, Cosmic Kitchen, will be there. And they're going to play with the band as well. And so that's going to be a really neat experience. All Steve's people, will friends and stuff like that will be there. And it's city of Miami's really got behind it. So it's going to be a neat thing, and would be on his birthday,
Is that a Saturday?
It is a
That
Saturday. Yes, it is.
Saturday?
Yes, it is. And I called Karina, or I texted her through Facebook and invited her, but she hasn't said whether she would attend or not, but I don't want to leave her out.
Right. Yeah. Well, that ought to be pretty cool. I mean,
It will be.
we don't see too much about Steve Gaines, and I'm going to be doing it on the road while I'm there, so I'm going to be trying to interview some of those guys that played with him in Crawdad.
Yeah.
Maybe Moose, and those other guys.
I talked to Bobby Poole, and he said he had a museum set up half a block down from the Coleman for the podcast interviews and stuff. So he has it set up with a bunch of Steve Gaines memorabilia already and everything.
Yeah, that Craig, remember the Polk Theater? That Coleman, that's probably a lot like the Polk Theater that we had in Lakeland. It's like a really old theater, and it's you can just tell all the way they put those theaters together back in the day. They're really classic looking, So is it a big theater?
Yeah, it is. I believe they said it held, I want to say 1,300.
Yeah.
It was either 1,000 or 1,300. It's a big theater for one of the old theaters.
You've been in there before, Steve?
I have not. I've looked at a bunch of pictures online now,
right.
but
yeah,
it's really fancy and really nice.
So how can people see your schedule? How do they get in touch with you? See, maybe if they want to hire you, or if they want to go see you play, how do they do that? Through
LoneStarSkynyrd.com. There's a contact button there if anybody wanted to contact us for anything. And there's also the events page, and I keep that updated with all our shows. So LoneStarSkynyrd.com, and then the events button would tell you where we're going to be.
Then you got something else really cool you want to tell us about that has something to do with the monument, huh?
I do. We've just got named the official tribute band of the Lynyrd Skynyrd Monument. And so what we're going to be doing with that is helping them publicize the monument, and they're going to help publicize us and keep literature and stuff like that there at the monument for people to pick up. And I'm going to carry a banner and stuff with the QR code and pictures, of their logo there at our shows, where people can donate to the site and just spread awareness about the Lynyrd Skynyrd Monument if people want to donate.
And then if they ever have any events, I'm sure you guys will be there to
for sure.
Head it up.
Sure. Yes, sir.
The headliner, which they might be doing something this October.
Very well, maybe.
Know anything about? I mean, it's an election year, and Craig and I, we kind of like been talking about how we don't want to be anywhere away from our house.
Yeah, I've heard that.
I mean,
I can't disagree with that.
They're shooting at people now, so I mean,
yeah.
But well, that's really cool, Steve. You guys have been around a while. I'm going to be looking forward to seeing you play when I come up there. I've heard a lot of tribute bands. There's several of them out there. A lot of them sound good, and I always look forward to hearing a different style that people have. And you can't get enough Lynyrd Skynyrd music. So people need to be looking at their calendar and check out what they're doing. September 14th, is that when it is?
September 14th, and you can either look on our website for tickets or for the Coleman Theater. They're supposed to put it up one day this week. They didn't have it up today, but they said it would go up this week.
Is it going to be pretty easy to get a hotel around there?
I would imagine. Yeah, I would imagine. You might have to drive 15 miles or something, but yeah, I'd imagine.
But I don't think it's like a big sprawling town. It's just a little tiny town. But,
right. Think like
those little towns are cool. Yeah, they're cool.
Yes.
Those little towns. So
I wondered, when I saw that it had 1,000 seats, I thought, how many people did Miami, Oklahoma have in the 20s to have 1,000-seat theater?
Yeah,
it's a good sized theater.
Well, we'll have you on here again if you want, right before we we head up there, which maybe a couple weeks before to remind everybody, and then they can still get tickets, and we'll talk about anything that might have popped up since then. But yeah, that's going to be great. A little change of venue here now. Finally, we're getting a little Steve Gaines stuff going, so that's long overdue, wouldn't you say?
Yes, sir.
As
That is.
from one Steve to another.
That's right.
Which it's Ed King's birthday too.
It is. That's exactly right. Yeah.
So, and I know Ed King thought that was really great that the guy they got to replace him, his birthday was the same, and he really liked Steve Gaines.
Right. Yeah.
I talked to Sharon, Ed's wife, about Steve Gaines, and he said, yeah, he really liked Steve Gaines as a replacement. So that's really cool. Well,
Yeah,
hey, do you want to stick around and see us give this pipe away here?
Yep, I sure do.
Greg, how are we going to do that?
We were talking about that, and I was kind of wondering.
You can just give it to me. if
We're
you want.
just gonna. I've picked the name of the. I've picked the name of the best name. The one and like I think I said last week, there's a reason why this name was picked, and I didn't know what to do about the other water pipe.
The leaky. I got it right here. You mailed it to me. I took it all apart, and I'm in the process of waterproofing it. And then you said that we would give that away Friday.
Yeah, you didn't put no stickers on it.
Oh, it's not done yet. I'm working on it still. I took all the leather off. I pulled that out. I've got it all. It's in process.
But if Kathy GODSEY was to win that, she wouldn't want it. So
Oh no.
No, what would you do with it, right?
We would, so
Well,
we're thinking, well,
Not
if we
gonna
had
happen.
a drawing, we might get another school teacher that don't do the
Well,
water
I'm
pipe
not
stuff.
in
So
the. I'm not
that's
in there.
so we thought we think we're going to give we're going to wait till Friday and do the thing for that pipe, and we're gonna choose a second place winner.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, then we're going to choose the
The
second
second place,
winner.
but they get the same prize.
Yeah, because if we'd have a drawing, a person, might not indulge in special tobacco,
Right. And Craig and I both signed it. The guy who made it, and then Craig, that Craig Reed signature, that thing, man, that's like, that pops out. That's it.
Perfect.
He's so neat with it, Kathy, you ever been around when Craig is signing stuff? It's like,
his signature is perfect.
yeah, he got to make it just right, It's like, and he picks on everybody else's signatures too, like Gene's. What is Gene sign? You can't read it.
Well, those things were hard to sign because you can't hold it. You can't.
Yeah.
I had to figure out a way to hold the thing so I could do it steady.
But
I
just
finally
think, a
figured it out.
pipe. This one, Craig actually smoked out of. Look at it, Steve.
Oh yeah.
Mhm. I
He
can
actually.
see it.
So you can. This one is, to me, even though Craig's giving that one away tonight. To me, the one that Craig smoked out of is more of a novelty. I don't know. So.
Well, I've smoked out of this one too. I don't.
Oh, have you? Okay.
I'd
I was
break
going to
it
say
down,
you need to smoke out of that one. I don't know. Maybe wait till somebody asks you whether you want them to smoke out of it or not. But it's too late. Great.
He has to test it. It has to be
Yeah, that's
tested.
exactly right.
That's right.
It has to be.
How's it work, Craig? Does it work all right?
Oh, they work good. Yeah, they work real good.
Cool.
That's
You
the
just
quality
gotta-
control.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Quality control.
I still haven't put much water in this one because I put water in that one, and then I put ice in it. When the ice melted, it leaked. That's why we.
Yeah, well, that one won't leak now. It's waterproofed, so you'll be good. But I wouldn't suggest that somebody put water in it and leave it in there for 2-3 days or something. I mean, For me, I think it's just a novelty thing, because Craig signed it, smoked out of it. And
Yeah.
Well,
I'll
somebody
tell you, if
somebody actually came up with the name of that one as Leaky, but we're not
Leaky.
going to say that's the name that wins that one because it's probably not.
Well, if
That
I
was
were to win that, Craig, I'd put flowers in it and make a vase. Put on my desk at work.
But should we say who won this one and why? Should we do that now? This one? Griff, are you frozen?
Yeah, he is.
He is.
Yeah, looks like we lost
Oh well, he'll come back to us. Come on back to us.
We just
he's
lost
gone.
him. Or he's going to have to come back.
He'll come.
So are we going to, what are we doing tonight? You're going to declare the name and the winner of that one, or what are we doing?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Somebody came up with a good name to it, and there's a particular reason why we chose that name, and we'll indulge everybody as soon as Griff comes back. But while we're waiting, I want to. My sister Joan, she's like 87, 88 years old. I just found out today she's going to have to have brain surgery. She's got.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, she's been talking to her. It's not funny. I shouldn't laugh, but she's been talking to herself and stuff. But my other sister talked to her today, and she said she's out of the hospital now, but guess she's got to get something taken out of her head. But she's been acting a little funny. But yeah, hope she pulls through this one. I've only got 4 sisters out of 6 left, and yeah, so don't want to lose another one right away here. But and then Tom's land clearing. He's been here for the last few days. They just left today. They cleaned out my pond. I want to thank Tom and God, his helper, I forget his name. God Almighty knows.
That's great. I hope you're going to post some pictures of the
yeah, he's got
finished product.
They sent pictures of him digging it out today, and but also want to thank my buddy that does my computer stuff, Professor Don. I had some computer issues. I was trying to do those documents and send out some of that stuff, and I had a computer problem I couldn't figure out. So I had to go there and take care of that this morning, and where he's at is right across the street. It's up near the Gilchrist, where the Holiday Inn where I met the band. So right across the street is that hotel. So I thought I'd go over there and take a picture of the place, but they changed the name of it, so I didn't take a picture right away. And then I went up and went in. The front desk is still in the same place, but where I went to the door to meet Skynyrd, they've changed the name. I think they call it the Plaza now, but it's all blocked off. I couldn't get back there around to the door and everything, so I didn't take any pictures. But I'll do that at another time. But I don't know why Griff's taking so long to come back on. Maybe they had some kind of a storm or something down there. I don't know.
That's what I was wondering. Are they having a weather problem? You just mentioned the hotel where you met Skynyrd. Every time I go down to Eatontown, New Jersey, near the shore, I pass the hotel where Gene took us on the bus. It was the Hilton in Tinton Falls, when I saw Rossington Collins Band when they played at the Garden State Arts Center. And afterwards, my cousin and I went to the hotel. It was the Hilton. We met Gene, and Gene invited us to come on the bus and travel with them. And I told this story once before. I said, no, I'm not allowed to. I'll get in trouble. But I know I would have had to have met Craig again. I would have come face to face with him. So here he comes. Yeah. But that hotel is still there. It's a different name, but it's so cool.
So cool. Such a good story, though.
Oh my
Very
gosh.
cool.
It's a different name now. They changed it to, I think, I don't know, Holiday Inn or something. But whenever I see it, I say, that's where I met. I went up to the room and Linda Blair was there. And
Wow.
all the guys signed my hat. I have a Rossington Collins hat. Everybody signed it for me.
Wow.
Such good memories.
Yeah.
Going on the bus. It was, but every time I drive past that, I think of those memories. It was like 42 years ago, but those memories will never go away. They're so special.
Very cool.
Oh, so I love the name of the band, Lone Star Skynyrd. That's a very clever name, considering you guys are from Texas.
Being Texas, first we was gonna name it Texas Skynyrd because we thought like any of the big, Australian Pink Floyd, they got their country or their state or something. So we was like, what can it be? Somebody said something about Lone Star, so we was like, man, Lone Star Skynyrd, that's perfect. So
perfect.
That's how we did
you guys nailed it. You nailed it. Tell me about the pictures behind you. I see a couple of pictures of Ronnie Van Zant. What else do you have?
No, those are just pictures of the band. My girlfriend did this for me for my birthday.
Oh my gosh. Really?
And, yeah, let me see.
Oh, I thought that was Ronnie Van Zant. Oh my gosh.
No.
Wow.
It's just pictures of the band, different pictures of me, and she had them framed and really cool. She did a really good job on that.
Nice. Are these on your Facebook page? Because now I realize you and I are friends, so I'm gonna have to go check out your pictures.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot of stuff on that Facebook page.
Oh, cool. Well, if you guys ever come up to New Jersey, let me know. I'll be reaching out to you for tickets. I want to see the band.
most definitely, I would.
Or New York. New York too. We have the Stone Pony in Asbury Park. That's a pretty big rock club, but it's hard for cover bands to get there. It's just very hard to play. But we have a lot of, people really love the Southern rock, and people love Skynyrd in New Jersey a lot. So
we've got some people from Syracuse asking us to come up there. If we can get one more gig on the way, we could do it. It's just for the money wise. We need one more show to get all the way to Syracuse to make it worthwhile.
Yeah. So before we were, Craig, did you want to say something?
Well, no, that was Griff. His internet's down. I said, we just came up with that conclusion, and we were just gonna go ahead and finish off because he edits these, and he's gonna add all that video at the end, so we can just jibber jabber here for a minute. We haven't named the winner of the water pipe, and we'll do that, and we'll just kind of finish off jibber jab. When luckily we got my other co-host here, so we
and I can always jibber jabber, even though I'm tired. I've been up since 6 o'clock this morning. That's why I'm wearing sunglasses, because I'm really tired.
We're not, naturally we're not doing the wake and bake because we got Kathy GODSEY in here. We're doing this. What time is it? It's going on 10 o'clock here. That's why she's got to get up.
You guys get up 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning to do wake and bake. You're crazy.
It's Tuesday. It's Tuesday. It's Tuesday evening, but she's got to go so she can get up in the morning. So but I'll still be up until 2 before this is out. It takes. After I got to send it to Griff, and he edits them, and then he sends it back to me, and then I got to load it, and then so it takes a while to get them up. It's usually at 4:20. I'm usually waking and baking when we do these things, But okay,
you were waking and baking before we started the thing. Before you were.
Yeah, I was waking and baking. Well, Stephen, he had a little bit. He had some issues with his sound, and then he had some issues with his audio, and Kathy GODSEY said, "Hey, turn it off and restart it, and then it worked. So
That was right.
We're lucky we had somebody on here that don't have brain damage to figure this stuff out for us. Yeah. So anyways, yeah. So some guy named Sam won the bong. I mean the water pipe. And there's let me say this. When Griff called, I dropped my mouse. I was just talking about breaking my computer again, and when Griff called, I dropped my mouse, and it all fell apart, and all my batteries came out of it and everything. So I had to put that all back together. So that's what I was doing. I think let me see if it'll still work.
Baby girl.
Yeah, it's working. Okay. So anyways, yeah, Sam. Hey, Sam, you won. And Sam, came up with a pretty easy name to win the bong because it was the name that Greg Raleigh and I got with Journey, and he came up with the name Blaze.
Blaze.
And that's a pretty good name for the water pipe, but there's a special reason why that won, because the place where Griff he's got a head shop that sells water pipes, and the name of that place is Blazin'. So so it's kind of a marketing thing that we're using, so. Yeah, cool. And maybe Griffs can make a little bit of money for traveling expenses off these water pipes, because we're trying to use a little marketing ploy here by calling them Blaze and selling it with the Blaze. So that's the reason it won. But yeah, we've had quite a lot of other names, but I think I've chosen, the other name. I think it's pretty funny. But yeah, we've had a lot. We've had a lot, yeah, and they're still coming in. But yeah, I think that's about all the jibber jabber we got going. And I appreciate you coming on, Stephen, and talking about Lone Star Skinner. And we'll probably have you on again at some time. And
good deal.
Anything else you want to say there, Kathy GODSEY?
No, I'm so glad to be part of this 200th podcast. I mean, the Wake and Bakes obviously contributed to a lot of them, but it's almost 2 years that I've been on this podcast with you guys, and I'm having a blast, and I've met so many cool people. So I really appreciate it. It's a lot of fun, and nice to meet you too, Stephen. And you know what? While you were stepped away, I was commenting on all those pictures of Lynyrd Skynyrd behind him, and he said, "That's not Lynyrd Skynyrd, that's our band." Like, look at those pictures of Ronnie Van Zant. No, that's me. Pretty cool. Really nice. You guys, the pictures are beautifully done. So very nice.
Thank you very much. And Craig, thank you for having me on here and letting me come on this 200th episode.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
I appreciate you doing that, man.
For coming on. Yeah. And we got after this, I guess Griff's going to add a little bit of them digging out my pond down here, and he's got Gene Odom, number 5 to add on here, and I'm not sure what at all, but yeah, this has been episode number 200 of the Stoned Roadie Show, and let me get ready to end this thing here, find all the buttons here. Okay, there we go. So yeah, that's been episode 200 of the Stone Roadie Show. And Kathy GODSEY, she gets aggravated if I don't sing,
Yeah, I do.
Even though I can't sing, I sing for 2 reasons: self-enjoyment and revenge. So here we go. Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, keep token until then. See you later, alligator, at the wild crocodile. And that's a wrap, and we're out of here.
Bye.
Hey Skynyrd fans, it's your old pal Jesus for Survivors, and I'm on location here today at the new Reverend Reed Center for Revival, an exciting project that's construction and the groundbreaking started today. Here in the background we've got Tuesday's Gone Tom running the dozer and Ernie Kiefer on the excavator, and they're working on Griff's grotto, which will be the baptismal pond. And then here to my left we've got a pretty good mound of dirt going. That'll be for the Reverend's Sermon on the Mount, so stay tuned, more to come. All right, we're back after lunch, and you can see the other side of the pond starting to take shape. All the muck's out. We got Kirk Kiefer in the excavator. He's the owner of Kiefer Farms in Albany, Ohio, and has run machinery for years. And these guys are just making fast time of it. We're at the lunch hour on day one, and like I said, you can already see a bank taken for them. And then Tom Parsons came down for the day or two, is donating his time. Parsons Land Clearing, and he's running the D5 dozer and making quick work of this project. So if you stick around, there's some bonus footage this afternoon. We're going to see how the Stone Roadie does run some of this stuff. So stay tuned and pray for us in the meantime. See ya. So here we are, as promised, Reverend Reed at the controls of the PC 170 doing a little excavator work. Good morning, everybody. Morning number 2. We've been at it about 30 minutes now. No sign of Reverend Reed. That excursion on him yesterday running the big excavator must have worn him out. He's still in bed, but we've got a beautiful day for it. We'll wrap this up in a few hours. Beautiful day that the Lord has made, and to borrow a Johnny Van Zant saying, every day is God's day. You know, talk about the reason we're doing this project for Craig. The love of God shows itself many ways, and for all Griff and Craig and everybody in the podcast raising the money for the survivors, I think that shows the love of God, and we're just trying to throw a little back his way for all he does. So pretty neat the way this project's come together, and we look forward to Griff doing many baptisms here in this pond once it fills in.
Okay, let's go on, move on to Ed King.
I wasn't really close to Ed because I wasn't around all that time. Back then I was having to work and travel, and I didn't get along with the business agent too well, and so I was, if you don't get along with the business agent, he sends you, our territory covered all the way to Mobile, this side of Mobile, Alabama, Daytona Beach.
So you had to boom out.
I had to
that iron working term. I was around a lot of iron workers, so I know all about
means
that.
I go to another local.
Right.
Our local covered a big area. I just had to travel,
Okay, yeah.
Miles and miles and miles and miles to go to work. Sometimes, and
But the time that you were around Ed and your evaluation of about what you thought he was like.
Ed was different from all of them because Ed King was another Steve Gainish consummate musician. Ed King was talented and could do stuff, but right off of the bat, from coming from California, he was a different, I can't think. Ronnie's style didn't hit Ed King's style of living and attitude and that kind of stuff. And so he didn't fit in. He was out of place that's not the right words to use, but
Well, I guess, you know, the contrast would be the fact that he was from California and, you know, a West Coast guy, and being put right in the middle of a bunch of rednecks down in South Florida. I mean, how would he fit in? But only talented wise then, huh?
Yeah, and he didn't like Ronnie's
violent.
He didn't like Ronnie's tendencies. He didn't like how Ronnie ran the show, kind of say. He didn't like Ronnie's, because Ed King had talent. Ed could write. I don't think he could sing it well. He could write, and he could write songs. He could write music, and he was a musician. And Ronnie was more of a songwriter, singer, but you couldn't call Ronnie a musician because he wasn't a musician. And the styles, the different lifestyles, even the way he talked at the time, it was just a little bit different than these old crackers, you know, these little crackers and stuff. And so there was a conflict there from the beginning that they tried to make work, you know. And Ed, when he left, I don't think people knew. I know they didn't know. When he left, he was kind of drugged out. And he actually became a Hare Krishner, shaved his head bald, and was selling Bibles in airports for a short time. Nobody knew that. And he when he left, when he flipped, you know. And he didn't do that, stay that way long. And he ended up in New Jersey. And he, being a songwriter, especially of Sweet Home Alabama, he got his writer's royalties and stuff, and Ed made pretty good money. And he bought, I don't know how many houses he had in New Jersey, and was renting them out. And he started, I think, a computer business, repair shop or business or something, was doing good. And he, they started the tribute band and became part of the tribute band. And he kind of like went back to the old routine, and that cost him a family, you know, and his wife. And he got with the tribute band, and then he met his wife.
Sharon, yeah,
he met her. And
she probably kind of straightened him up.
She did. She turned him around, and he was doing great. But you know, his health. I don't know if people know, but Ed King had breast cancer, male breast cancer. Both of his breasts had to be removed, and then he had that damn open heart surgery and had heart replacement, and that's only good for about 10 years. I was told after 10 years it didn't work. And then he got that cancer, you know. I think it was single cell cancer. That's the fastest spreading cancer there is, I understand.
Well, you know, that anti-rejection medication is they say it causes cancer. If you're on it long enough, you're going to get it. Yeah.
Really? I called him about a week or two before he passed away. We talked a couple times, you know. And I was driving out there, and he said at the time, he said, Gene, he said, turn around, we'll have to do this another time. He said, I'm getting some tile work done around my pool.
Yeah, I remember him working on his pool, yeah.
He says, turn around. And I think he might have, didn't want me to see him in the shape that he was in. And it was a couple hours later, he was gone, you know.
Yeah, well, I think he had a lot of, there at the end, I think he had a solid relationship with his wife, and I think she was really good for him, and they, you know, and I think that, you know, at the end, he ended up happy, you know. I really do. I really think he did.
I think he was happy at the end, you know, and he took that, he took that illness.
Yeah, he's tough. He's a tough one.
People know, and Ed King, he didn't like Ronnie's style. He didn't like Ronnie's cocaine and Jack Daniels and stuff, Ronnie Van Zant would go from Ronnie. I should turn title him and Ed King. I phrase him, I call him Einstein and Frankenstein. They get on that shit. They go, Ronnie was, not around me, of course, but at alcohol, make him want to fight. Ed didn't like that lifestyle. Ed didn't like Ronnie singing. Ed King carried a gun. People don't know that.
Oh, wow.
Shit, yeah, Ed King carried a couple of them fights, a couple of that stuff. Ed King carried a pistol. For I don't know how long, but I know he did carry a pistol there. And at the end, when he left, and he did turn his way around, and here's one for you. Captain Phillips. The movie with the Somalis captured the ship, and the Navy SEALs on the back of that ship shot them Somalis through the eyes. Ed King's son was one of them.
Yeah, that's what I heard about that.
Caleb King. And I'm pretty sure Caleb King teaches Navy SEAL sniper school. I think in Indiana. Illinois or Indiana, where Navy SEALs.
I believe Sharon told me he's out now. I think he's out near Washington, D.C. doing something. I could be wrong about that, but...
well, he spent a couple of years.
Yeah.
And he based it, but he'd had 12 years in then. While Ed was alive, his son had been in there 12 years or more. Hopefully he retired. He got, stayed in long enough to retire. But I'm sure his daddy left quite a bit of money for him, but...
Okay, let's move on to Gary Rossington.
Man. Gary.
Here's the one thing I'd like to interject about Gary. Is a lot of people, they saw you recently do a video of him talking about him by his grave, and you didn't have a lot of great things to say about him, but at the same time you were cleaning up around his grave. So that kind of tells me you did have a soft spot for Gary, but you didn't like,
I did all the way up until, I didn't know how Gary was. I kind of knew, but you don't never know how a guy is. And if he becomes your partner in business, and your business partner, your band member, and you get that kind of atmosphere, then you know how those people are.
Right.
Ed King knew how Ronnie was. Ed King knew how Alan Collins was. Ronnie knew how Ed King was. That group, that you learn a lot about the people you're around so much. And I didn't know about Gary. And so when Ronnie hit Bob with the ball, I found out about Bob Burns. I already knew Bob. And I knew all about Bob, but I didn't know Ronnie was looking to get into, Ronnie was trying to put his own little band together. And so when he hit Bob with the ball, found out, you Bob Burns, you play drums. Yeah, we just rehearsed right down the road here. It's Ronnie Van Zant. Bob Burns, Larry Junstrom, and Gary Rossington would jam in Bob's carport. I knew Bob jammed in the carport, but I didn't ever go down there around anything, And so so Ronnie goes, when he hit Gary with the ball, Ronnie goes down there a day or two later, whenever it was, and they were rehearsing, Bob, Larry, and Gary. So Ronnie says, hey, I'm a singer. I can sing, and I can be a part of it. So anyway, make a long story short, Ronnie liked what he heard, and so Ronnie became the singer. And from that point on till the end, Ronnie Van Zant did it his way. Then they started drinking, smoking pot and stuff like that, and then the rowdy Ronnie, or the Ronnie on Jack Daniels, or a little bit of cocaine, marijuana, Jack Daniels combination brings out the other side of Ronnie. And so Gary resented that, but he couldn't do nothing about it because Ronnie had became part of the band. It was the Ronnie show, kind of like doing it. This is how we're going to do it. Ronnie had a desire to get out of Shantytown, and I knew that. He hated Shantytown and didn't bring anybody by his house that wasn't a close friend or a schoolmate. John Zingaro, Nick Zingaro, Bill Ferris, which was one of his very, 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 very best friends. Schools, they went to high school together, junior high and high school. I didn't go because I didn't get to that far in school. And so, what was I talking about?
Oh, we were talking about Gary and.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Gary resented the fact that Ronnie took over that band and ran it his way. I didn't really know that side of Gary because I wasn't a band member, and or that, you know, I was close to Ronnie, but Ronnie didn't ever say anything about that, you know. And then the next thing, Ronnie knew he needed more, and he heard about Alan Collins, and he actually bumped into Alan, and Alan throwed his bike down and hauled ass and climbed up a tree. And I think about the next day or so, I happened to come from work, and I drove by JR's house where they rehearsed and practiced the mods. JR's band, Alan Collins was in that band. And they were playing baseball on the lot across from JR's house. And Alan Collins was pitching. And I went on to Ronnie's and I said, hey man, I said, the mods, JR were playing ball across the street from his house, and Alan Collins lived on the mountain pitching. Come on, jumped in his Mustang. We run up there and jumped out of the Mustang and run up there and kidnapped Alan Collins, just locked him up, and Ronnie told him, he said, hey, I don't want to fight you, I don't want to hurt you, I just want to talk to you about my band, about our band. Now come on. And so he started walking Alan to the car, and I'm not sure if I hollered or Ronnie hollered. I think it was me. We'll be back later to get his guitar and amplifier, you know. And so Ronnie talked with Alan, and Alan became part of the band. And then Alan comes in there, and Alan Collins had his own style of music. And Gary and Alan, they were extremely rudimentary back then, early on. And if you ever heard any of their early stuff, you know that it was noisy. So, come to find out that all these years, Gary resented the fact that Ronnie took over that band. And it never dawned on me, never put anything together, until I convinced Ronnie that management was stealing about 90% of his money. He just said, you know what you're talking about, you're not a man. I said, man, look here, I'm telling you, that's what I can see. They're just stealing your money. And so it was 2 nights before the plane crash in Lakeland, Florida. We were rooming together so we could talk. And I convinced him and showed him how he was getting ripped off. And the merchandising is what I showed him, that how bad he was getting ripped off. And when I showed him, and he was sober, I had sobered him up. And when I showed him on paper, I said, man, this is what's going down. This is how you're losing your money. And then he said, okay, man. He said, all right, we're going to take over. As soon as this tour is over, I want you to say nothing to nobody. We're going to go take over. You got a legal team ready? I said, yeah, I've got a legal team already set up. He said, okay. And so I just went ahead and asked him, I said, all right, now we're at this point. Can I tell the band members what I'm actually doing? What's going to come down? No, man, no. You can't tell nobody. He said, my wife don't even know what we're doing. Nobody knows nothing until the legal team puts their foot down. All right, now Gary was the president. Gary and Ronnie they signed the checks. Ronnie didn't want no titles, so Gary was president. Lynyrd Skynyrd Inc. Anytime checks had to be wrote, Ronnie and Gary had to sign the checks. That's how I told him about the checks at the meetings. and they go in there for a meeting or a budget thing, whatever, signing checks. I said, you're just signing checks. You've been drinking all day. You've been
Right,
cocaine.
yeah.
I said, he said, well, I said, listen, you don't even know what the fuck you're signing. You just sign it. I said, look, what the hell are you signing? And so he says, I showed him how he was getting ripped off. And then I said, okay, can I tell the press, Gary Rosington? I said, can I tell the press what I'm doing, what's really going down? He went, hell no, man, no. You can't tell anybody, especially him. I went, Gary? He said, yeah, Gene. He said, man, quote, Gary Rosington will stab me in my back and cut my throat the first chance he gets. I went, the press? Gary? He said, yeah, Gene, you don't know him, buddy. Sit down here, let me tell you some stuff. And that's when Ronnie told me that Gary resented the fact that Ronnie just came in and bulled his way in and took over the band and ran it his way. If he hadn't done that, that band would have never been nothing but
Yeah, I think anybody would agree with that.
yeah, would never been nothing but a garage band. So Ronnie made it, look today, look what kind of success they have. And so Gary hated that, and Gary hated that. And it didn't dawn on me. And I went, damn, Gary, the press? He said, yeah. He said, man, you cut my throat and stabbed me. The first chance he got was the tribute tour. I want to tell you something that nobody don't know. 2 homeless guys started the tribute tour, started talking about it. I came home from work one day, iron working, on Edgefield, right down around the corner from where Bob Burns grew up. And there's 2 homeless guys in my driveway. Billy Powell and Leon Wilkerson were homeless. Billy was living with his mama riding a bicycle. The IRS put his ass on the street because he owed him a bunch of money. Leon, all the coke heads and coke dealers, coke mess, coke lawyers and coke shit, and that old football player that ripped him off. In my driveway. I forget which one it was. Hey, Gene, maybe we should help. I said, what you need? We want to do, they called it a reunion. We want to do a reunion tour, man. We're flat broke. I said, I know the IRS put your ass on the street because you owe them about $300,000. And I said, all your coke dealing and your coke lawyers and all your bullshit put you on the street. I know all about that, Leon. I hate it for both of you. And I said, but I ain't got no money. I can't do nothing for you. They said, man, we need to do something, Gene. We're flat broke. I said, yeah. And I said, but look here, you got the blood oath agreement. Billy goes, I don't give a shit about that. I don't care about that. We're broke, Gene. We need some help. I said, man, I ain't got nothing. Yeah, I ain't got no money. And I said, you got the blood oath agreement. You really can't do nothing. Bull, we don't give a shit about that. I said, I'll tell you what. Gary's playing tomorrow night in a little dive in Atlanta, the Rosington band. I said, go up and talk to Gary. Gary's the only one that can help you out and do something. You do something. So, but they had the blood oath agreement. They go up to Atlanta and talk to Gary. Come back to my house the next night. I'm in my driveway. They're in my driveway when I get home from work. And what Gary say? Billy took his fist and beat on the hood of my truck. Gary went, we say we never play that shit music again. Get the hell out of here and go back where you come from. I ain't playing that shit never again. So they came to my house to tell me that. So, but the drive from Atlanta to Jacksonville the next day, Gary's got his traveling coke dealers, coke management, and them fucking clowns and stuff. I say, hey man, look here. You could put a reunion together and make some quick money and everything, you know. Yeah, you know, and well, you know, Gary knows he's got that blood oath agreement, but he's flat broke. He's done tied all his money up into cocaine in his house and heavy drug use, and Gary's about broke. So he calls Judy. Gary calls Judy and says, hey, we talking about maybe doing what they called it, a reunion thing to try to make some quick money for everybody because they're broke. Judy said, no, you can't. You got a blood oath agreement. we agreed to never capitalize on Lynyrd Skynyrd again. So Gary said, well, I know, but everybody's broke except you. And everybody can make some quick money. We just need to make some quick money. Quote, I only want to do 10 shows to make some quick money for everybody because everybody's broke. So Judy says, all right, come down and talk. So Gary come down and talk to Judy. And so Gary only wants to do 10 shows as a tribute, as a way to make some quick money for everybody. So Judy agrees, and Alan agrees. Alan and Judy and Gary own Lynyrd Skynyrd Inc. They agreed to do a tribute. They called it the tribute tour, to do 10 shows only as a tribute tour, Tribute Inc. So they come down and they set it up. Judy set it everything up. Gary, all right, tribute tour's coming together. It's going to be 10 shows. We need a singer. And they called a meeting to talk about who they're going to get to do the singing. Alan Collins called me to come get him to take him, and I took him over there. So they're talking. The first, I don't know which one it was, the first one name that came out of his mouth was Paul Rogers. And somebody else said, well, no, he's not our style. He wouldn't do right, Can't be no God dang it. So anyway, the next one was Donnie Van Zandt was the next name out of their mouth, one of their mouths. I'm sitting behind Alan Collins there. He's at the table with him. And I said, hey, it's none of my business. But Donnie Van Zandt will never sing his brother's songs. Never. For love nor money. Donnie's done good with 38. I said, Donnie will never do it. Well, and one of them said, well, Ronnie always said Johnny had a better voice than him and Donnie. And I had just left Lacey's house, and Johnny was leaving his mobile home, walking to his daddy's house. And I waved at him, and I went to the meeting. And I went, hey, I said, look here, I'm going to get me a Coke. Y'all want anything to drink? He said, no, we're all right, Gene. And so I got out and got my car and I went straight to Lacey's house. Johnny was coming back from his daddy's house back to his mobile home. And I stopped and I got out of the car and I went, hey, I said, man, look here, I'm at that meeting. They're going to be calling you. Yeah, tell them don't call me, Gene. I ain't interested. I said, man, listen. He said, no, I ain't, listen. I won't ever sing my brother's songs, never. I would never do it. And he started to turn. I said, man, look here, think about it. And he got upset. He goes, hey, man, look here. I never sing my brother's songs. I would never do it. And you, of all people, asking me. He said, I would never do it. Never. And he turned to step up on his porch. And I got him by the sleeve. And he turned around. I thought he was going to swing at me. I wish he would have. He turned and he said, man, look here. I would never do it. And you go back and tell them, I would never sing. I said, look here, boy. I said, do it for your mom and daddy. Give them half the money. You're going to make a lot of money. Give them half the money and make you feel better. You can see a light bulb go poof. He went, you know what? You got a point there. See, the tribute tours would be just 10 shows. And he said, you know what? My God, you're right. Go back around there. Don't say nothing and let them call me. And he did. They called him and he became the singer. And so they put the tribute tour together. Tribute tour, Tribute Inc., Tribute Band. 10 shows to tribute tour. Boom. They all sold out. Massive coliseum, stadiums, big things. Boom, tribute tour, sold out, 10 shows. So they're going to do a week rehearsal. The first show is the Charlie Daniels Jam in Tennessee. They're going out there and rehearse for a week before the first show. So I go out there and I'm just sitting around the hotel doing this, A day or two later, I get the itinerary. I'm looking at the itinerary. 28, 29, 30 shows, big shows sold out. 30 shows sold out. On the back page it says, stay tuned, 60 more shows coming. I went, damn. I called Judy. I said, Judy, I said, this ain't no 10 shows. She said, gee, that's it, 10 shows. Tribute Tour, Tribute Inc. is licensed for 10 shows only. That's all they can do. They can't do any more. I said, did you get an itinerary? She says, no. So listen to this. So I called all those off to her. Stay tuned, 60 more shows coming. Overnight that to me immediately. So overnight it to her, she gets it, she calls me the next day. Matter in hell, what room is Gary in? In room number 10. We're all friends back then. She said, go down to his room, tell him I'm calling him, and you stay and listen to the conversation. Don't you dare leave. I go down, and I knock on the door. What's up, Gene? I said, man, Judy's going to be calling you. The phone's ringing. He says, come on in, man. Come on in. Sit down. Had a big suite. I sit on this side, and he sit on that side. He picks the phone up. So Judy lays into him about he can only do 10 shows. Tribute Tour is licensed by Lynyrd Skynyrd Inc. for 10 shows only. Tribute Incorporated was the Tribute Corporation. Tribute Band, including all of the band members of the Tribute Tour, i.e. his brother. So she says, you can't do this, Gary. What the hell are you trying to do? I said, this is a quote from now on from Gary Rosington. I don't care about that 10 shows. He said, I'm going to keep traveling. We're booking more shows. We got 90 more, 60 more shows coming. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to keep going. And a matter of fact, I'm going to take your stock. I'm kicking your ass out of the band. She said something to him. I don't give a fuck about that. He says, I'm taking your stock. You're no longer going to be a member of Lynyrd Skynyrd Band. She says something else about you can't do this to Ronnie's family. Quote. This is all a quote. Fuck Ronnie Van Zant. Fuck you and fuck his kids. I'm taking your stock. You're out of the band. His mistake was he thought Alan Collins would go with him automatically to do a hostile takeover. I didn't know anything about a word called hostile takeover, nothing like that. I'm sitting right here on the other side. He says, I'm gonna keep playing, I'm gonna make more records, I'm gonna keep doing shows, I'm taking your stock. You're no longer in the band. Judy said something, he goes, fuck you and fuck Ronnie Van Zant. Fuck his kids. I'm just sitting there starting to steam up, you know. And he says, ain't nothing you can do about it. I'm going to keep playing, I'm going to keep traveling, I'm going to keep doing records. You're out of the band. And he hung the phone up. And I'm thinking about standing up and just do a roundhouse kick and knock his brains out. But I'm better than that. The phone rang right back. He picked the phone back up. Judy's screaming at whatever, he can't do this, whatever. And he said, fuck you. I'm taking your stock. You're out of the band. And she said something about Ronnie and his kids. He said, fuck Ronnie Van Zant and his kids. Fuck you. You're out of the band. I'm telling you, you're out of the fucking band. And he slammed the phone down and snatched the cord out the wall. And I stood up then. I said, boy, you think you could take that man's stock like that and just kick him to the curb? He's dead? That's right. I'm taking his stock. Fuck you, buddy. Fuck Ronnie Van Zant.
So that's kind of where it started, the bad blood with you and Gary right there then, huh?
Let me finish this. I know this is long, you can cut it or whatever. And so I'll speed it up. And he says, that's right. Ain't nothing you can do about it. You ain't shit to me. You were Ronnie Van Zant's friend. If you choose his side, you ain't my friend. I said, son, I wouldn't let Ronnie Van Zant do this to you. He said, you can't do shit to me. You ain't nothing. As a matter of fact, pack your bags and go home. I said, that ain't no problem, Gary. I can do that. I said, but you're never going to do this to that man and his family. So, yeah, I've already got it started, matter of fact. He said, fuck your buddy. Fuck Ronnie Van Zant. Fuck you and fuck your fishing buddy. Then I went, you'll never do it. I'll see you in court, son. and I'll piss on your grave one day. I walked out. And you can bet your ass I'm a man of my word. But Ronnie Van Zant told me that Gary Rosington resented the fact that he took over that band. And Gary did that his whole life. That man died hating Ronnie Van Zant because Ronnie Van Zant did it his way, which, look at what they left behind.
Yeah, well, you know,
look what, and Ed King and Steve.
Ronnie was a songwriter, and
well, it was the whole band.
Yeah,
you know, but
and
Ronnie was the foreman.
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
he made that what it was, and it turned out to be such a major success for everybody. Of course, except Gene Odom. I'm the only one flat broke. Been on Social Security 35 years, but they don't owe me nothing. And if you knew Gary, I didn't know Gary until Ronnie told me that what Gary was, how resentful he was. And nobody that knew him, people that's going to see this are going to say, God, how could Gene say that? You didn't know him. You knew Gary Rosington as the member of Lynyrd Skynyrd band, the guitar player, the part of that. Let me tell you a story about a guy named Russell Moat, a lot younger than us. Got in touch with me, bought a book, and was the biggest Gary Rosington fan on the planet from Pelham, Alabama. He called me one day, got in touch with me, and said, man, I'm the biggest Gary Rosington fan. I love Skynyrd, but I love Gary Rosington. He's my idol. So we talked a couple times. He bought a t-shirt and some stuff. The biggest Skynyrd fan, Gary Rosington fan in the world. He called me one day, he went, man, God, guess what? I've got tickets. I've got backstage. I'm going to get to meet my idol, Gary Rosington. I'm going to get to meet him, Gene. I'm going to shake his hand. I said, man, that's great for you. I'm happy for you. I said, tell him, I said, hey, all right, this guy called me all the time. I didn't ever hear from him. He never called me back. I called several times, nobody did it. Damn it. So I called one day, and his mother picked the phone up. I says, is Russell around? She said, Gene, yeah. Hold on a minute, I need to talk to you. I said, what's up? She said, he went to the concert, and he went to the meet and greet. And so he was just waiting for Gary, and Gary walked up shaking hands with people. He put his hand out to shake with Gary. Gary put his hand out and snatched his hand back and walked by and didn't shake hands with him. He come straight home and blowed his brains out. I went, what? And she said, yeah. He said, Gene, but it didn't kill him, it just paralyzed his whole, one side of his body. Whatever side of the brain you shoot yourself on, it paralyzed the other side. She said, he's going to come to the phone, but you're not going to be able to understand him. He come to the phone, and he just, I can understand Gary. And I started crying. I said, God dang. And his mother got back on the phone. She said, he's not going to live much longer like this, Gene. She said, it broke his heart when Gary wouldn't shake his hand. Now, Gary didn't do that on, I mean, to be spiteful. I don't imagine this, but this is how Gary was. I've seen him do the same thing, you know, snatch his hand back. But this boy was so mentally disturbed by somehow that by Gary not shaking his hand when he was excited, at his point of excitement, he just went home and blew his brains out. And God, that broke my heart. But you know, you had to know Gary.
But Gary could have done that to anybody, huh?
Could have done anybody, but anybody could just let him walk away from it. Hey, Gary Rosington. That one person that didn't have that was so enthralled into Gary Rosington, and of course anything could have caused this guy to commit suicide or whatever, but at that time it was his idol Gary Rosington. And you had to, Ronnie knew him.
So what do you think was the last time you talked to Gary?
Oh, at Larry Johnstone's funeral.
Yeah?
Yeah. And what he said was...
were you guys pretty civil then?
Yeah, I had just done just done the movie, The Last 72 Hours of Lynyrd Skynyrd.
Yeah.
And Gary said, I saw that. He said, that's pretty good. You did a pretty good job on it. I said, well, thanks. You know, and then he was gone.
Well, that's pretty good. I mean,
yeah.